What defines a true dynasty? The ability to win even when the odds are against you, or the courage to reinvent yourself when the end seems inevitable? In San Francisco, as the Warriors fight in the 2025 playoffs, a silent decision may be about to transform the franchise's future forever. Oracle Arena no longer exists. Chase Center has become the new Golden and Blue Temple. But one thing remains: the relentless pursuit of excellence. When many considered this season the last gasp of an era, the Warriors refused to disappear into the shadows of history. Now, in the hands of the executives who orchestrated one of the greatest dynasties in sports, rests a decision that could redefine the future. Stay the course or make a bold move that could change everything. The Golden State Warriors are back in the NBA playoffs. After an up-and-down regular season, the team had to secure their spot to the play-in tournament, facing the always dangerous Memphis Grizzlies. They built a considerable advantage in the first half, but saw the Grizzlies recover, reducing the difference to just 2 points in the final minute. With decisive shots from Steph Curry and a crucial 5-second violation committed by Memphis, the Warriors secured the 7th position in the West. The path wasn't easy. The season was marked by inconsistency, injuries, and adaptation to a new reality without Klay Thompson, who for so many years formed the Splash Brothers duo with Curry. The chemistry that once seemed natural now needs to be rebuilt game by game. Veterans fight against the biological clock, while young players seek to find their place in a franchise where the pressure to win is constant. This moment of tension is just the latest chapter for a franchise that redefined modern basketball. 5 consecutive finals, 3 rings, a style of play that transformed the NBA forever. It began with the vision of a coach who believed in the power of shooting and spacing. Steve Kerr arrived in 2014 and implemented a system that favored movement without the ball, quick passes, and, of course, many three-point shots. The result? A basketball revolution that left a permanent legacy. But time doesn't stop. Kevin Durant's departure to Brooklyn in 2019 was the first sign. Klay Thompson's devastating Achilles tendon injury, followed by his gradual decline after returning. The aging of the championship core, with Draymond Green no longer being the same omnipresent defensive force. Andre Iguodala retired. Each season brings with the same question among fans, analysts, and probably within the organization itself. How much time remains for this dynasty? The Warriors' history is marked by courageous decisions at critical moments. In 2012, trading Mona Ellis, then a fan favorite, for Andrew Bogut was met with vehement protests. Fans even booed owner Joe Lacob during Chris Mullin's jersey retirement ceremony. That unpopular decision, however, laid the foundation for a winning era by allowing Stephen Curry to take the reins of the team and Klay Thompson to gain important minutes. In 2016, after the painful finals loss to Cleveland after leading 3-1, they created salary cap space to attract Kevin Durant, even if it meant letting go of important players from the 2015 championship roster. The boldness resulted in 2 consecutive championships and some of the best collective performances in basketball history. Now, with Curry wearing a splint on his right thumb while facing the Houston Rockets in the first round, behind-the-scenes rumors point to another bold move: Bam Adebayo from the Miami Heat, a move that could revitalize a faltering dynasty or precipitate its definitive end with a risk too great. Before we continue, if you're passionate about basketball like we are, this is the perfect time to join our community. Only 10% of our viewers are subscribed to the channel, and they discover these rumors before everyone else. Hit the like button now and join our team to stay on top of the movements that will define the future of the NBA. Every great Warriors fan needs to know what's coming. We're building the best space for deep discussions about basketball, and your participation is essential to maintain this level of exclusive analysis. While the public focus is on the series against the Houston Rockets, with Curry and Gary Payton II wearing thumb splints, the NBA backstage is buzzing with potentially transformative news. According to Caleb Hightower of Sporting News, the Warriors' management's frustration with Buddy Hield has grown to alarming levels, and a trade for Miami Heat star Bam Adebayo is being seriously considered for the post-playoffs period. 3 sources connected to the organization confirmed the information, albeit with different levels of certainty regarding the viability of the deal. The first meeting to discuss this possibility reportedly occurred right after Hield's acquisition. when his first signs of inconsistency began to appear. Initially treated as a normal adaptation adjustment, the problem persisted and worsened over the months. The numbers tell a clear and concerning story. Contracted to be the legendary Klay Thompson's replacement, Buddy Hield saw his three-point shooting percentage plummet dramatically. 30.5% in December, 31.5% in January. In the crucial play-in game against Memphis, he converted only 1 of 4 attempts from perimeter. As Hightower said, he seems more like a fraudulent splash brother as time passes. The drop in performance isn't limited just to three-point shooting. Hield also showed difficulties in perimeter defense, a fundamental aspect in the Warriors system that prioritizes defensive switches and quick rotations. His defensive rating worsened compared to his previous seasons, making him a frequent target for opponent isolations, a serious problem in playoff series where each weakness is relentlessly exploited. In press conferences, both Steve Kerr and veteran players have publicly defended Hield, reiterating confidence in his ability to overcome the slump. However, body language during timeouts and the gradual reduction in his minutes tell a different story. Patience is running out at the most critical moment of the season. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, Bam Adebayo has consolidated himself as a complete force. 18.1 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game this season, with impressive 48.5% field goal percentage and surprising 35.7% from three-point range. His evolution from defensive specialist to versatile offensive weapon hasn't gone unnoticed by Warriors management. Adebayo's development as a player has been remarkable. Drafted in 2017 as a long-term project, he quickly exceeded expectations and transformed into a central piece for the Heat. Under Eric Spoelstra's command and Pat Riley's demanding culture, Adebayo has expanded his game annually. What began as an athletic defender with limited energy transformed into one of the league's most versatile centers, capable of defending 5 positions, organizing offense in the high post, and more recently, shooting confidently from the perimeter. The current matchup against the Rockets, where Jock Landale and Jay Sean Tate are out with injuries, may be more than just a playoff series for the Warriors. It could be a decisive test to define the urgency of a deep overhaul. The team's performance, and particularly Hield's in this series, will directly influence how much management will be willing to sacrifice to bring in Adebayo. In the corridors of Chase Center, tension is palpable. The tight classification in the play-in lit up alerts that have been flashing since the beginning of the season. Sources close to the organization reveal internal divisions about the path forward. The group of executives led by Bob Myers, architect of the dynasty, is divided. Meetings have extended into the early morning, analyzing data, salary cap projections, and possible scenarios. The question isn't just sporting, but also financial and about legacy. What is the acceptable cost to extend a competitive window around Stephen Curry? To what extent is it worth sacrificing the future for the present? On one side, executives who advocate for stability and specific adjustments, betting that the current roster's playoff experience can overcome the inconsistencies shown in the regular season. This group points to young talents like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, arguing that giving up on him now would be repeating the mistakes of other franchises that prematurely traded developing players. On the other, an increasingly vocal faction, apparently aligned with Curry himself, believes a bold move is necessary to maximize what remains the greatest shooter in history's career. This group emphasizes that Curry will turn 37 next season, and talents like him appear once in a generation. Sacrificing some future pieces for a concrete chance in the present will be justifiable. The relationship between the two organizations, Warriors and Heat, has been cordial over the years. There haven't been major negotiations between them, but executives from both teams maintain professional and respectful communication. A trade of this magnitude would require multiple calls, complex financial analyses, and of course, the final approval of the owners of both teams. For the Miami Heat, the possibility of trading Adebayo isn't as absurd as it might seem at first glance. With Jimmy Butler not getting any younger and salary cap issues looming, Pat Riley has always shown pragmatism in rebuilding his roster. The famous Heat culture, known for its discipline and demands, could be recycled with new talents, while Butler would receive a shooting specialist who could open the necessary space for his drives. The addition of a shooter like Hield combined with promising young players and draft picks, could be interesting for a Heat team that might need to reconfigure its core. Spoelstra, recognized for his ability to maximize specific talents, would certainly find ways to utilize Hield's specialty while minimizing his defensive deficiencies, something the Warriors haven't been able to do consistently. The considerations go beyond player qualities. The salary cap luxury tax, remaining contract years, all of this weighs in the balance. Adebayo is in the middle of a max contract that extends until 2026, while Hield has a more modest contract with only one more guaranteed year. The significant difference would require the Warriors to include more pieces to balance the values. The necessary package will be substantial. Probably Buddy Hield, Jonathan Kuminga, or Moses Moody, or even both, plus multiple first-round picks. A very high investment, but one that could represent the difference between a melancholic retirement for Curry and a legitimate chance at another ring. The final decision may depend not only on immediate sporting results, but also on external factors. The franchise value, marketing considerations, the NBA's new television contract that will come into effect next season. All these elements will be considered before any drastic move. Ironically, as the Warriors prepare to face the Rockets at the Toyota Center at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the pieces of this complex puzzle begin to move behind the scenes. The outcome of this playoff series may be just one of many factors that will decide the next chapters of this dynasty. What would Bam Adebayo look like wearing the Warriors' blue and gold? The impact could be seismic, transforming weaknesses into strengths and opening a new chapter for the dynasty. Defensively, the combination of Adebayo and Draymond Green would possibly be the most versatile in the league. Two elite defenders capable of guarding all five positions, communicating and rotating perfectly. Both have been Defensive Player of the Year finalists. Both possess the intelligence and athletic ability to execute the defensive switching scheme that characterized the Warriors' best versions. Adebayo would bring what the Warriors have lacked since Andrew Bogut's departure, and later Kevin Durant's, an elite perimeter defender who can also protect the rim. His mobility would allow him to recover quickly after defensive switches, something crucial against the best offenses in the modern NBA. In the last 3 seasons, teams with Adebayo on the court allowed 5.4 fewer points per 100 possessions compared to when he was on the bench. What the Warriors would lose in spacing with Hield's departure, they would gain in a defense capable of neutralizing any attack in the league. Adebayo's defensive versatility would allow tactical configurations that the Warriors cannot currently execute, such as full-court pressure and blitz schemes on opposing point guards, tactics that were fundamental in previous championships. On the offensive side, Adebayo would fill several gaps simultaneously: rim protection, post-scoring, offensive rebounds, and crucially, high-quality playmaking from the center position. His evolution as a passer has been impressive. In the 2020-21 season, he recorded 5.4 potential assists per game. That number has risen to 7.1 in the current season. His vision would allow unloading pressure on Curry as the only reliable creator on the team. His distribution ability from the high post would fit perfectly into the Warriors' constant movement system, creating opportunities for Curry and other shooters. Backdoor cuts, a trademark of the Warriors' offense under Steve Kerr, would gain a new dimension with a passer of Adebayo's caliber operating from the elbow. The Curry-Adebayo pick and roll will be virtually unguardable, especially with Adebayo's newly developed ability to shoot from the perimeter. In the last 2 years, Adebayo has expanded his offensive arsenal to include a reliable mid-range jump shot and, more recently, the three-point shot. His mechanics have improved considerably under the guidance of Heat coaches. In 2022-23, he attempted only 0.1 three-pointers per game. In the current season, that number has risen to 1.8 with 35.7% accuracy. He's not a constant threat from the perimeter, but this evolution indicates a willingness to expand his game, a quality valued in the Warriors' culture. Advanced statistics suggest that lineups containing Adebayo as a facilitator increase offensive efficiency by 7.2 points per 100 possessions. Transposing this impact to the Warriors system, with the greatest shooter in history moving without the ball, the results could be explosive. The offensive rating could rival the best years of the dynasty, when the Warriors' attack seemed unstoppable. Naturally, there would be adaptation challenges. The system of 5 interchangeable players that marks the Warriors' offense will require adjustments to accommodate Adebayo. Steve Kerr would need to find a balance between utilizing his strengths as a facilitator and keeping him involved when he wasn't with the ball. The first few months would probably be tactical experimentation, with inevitable ups and downs. The chemistry between Adebayo and Draymond Green would be particularly interesting to observe. Two players of high basketball intelligence, both accustomed to being the defensive quarterback of their teams, would have to find a balance in their responsibilities. Offensive spacing would also be a challenge, as neither is an elite perimeter shooter. Kerr would need to be creative in his schemes to maximize offensive efficiency while minimizing this problem. Without this change, the scenario is uncertain. The current series against the Rockets will show much about the true ceiling of this roster. Steph Curry, even wearing a thumb splint, continues to be a transformative force, but the question that echoes is, for how much longer? The window is closing, and difficult decisions need to be made. If the Warriors choose to maintain the current course, betting on the development of young players and minor adjustment around Curry, they risk repeating the path of other dynasties that held onto their core for too long. The post-Showtime Lakers, the original Big Three Celtics, the Bulls after Jordan. The NBA's history is full of examples of teams that missed the ideal timing for a smooth transition. On the other hand, if the trade for Adebayo doesn't produce the expected results, the Warriors would have sacrificed valuable assets for the future on a failed bet in the present. Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, both still rising, could flourish in another system and haunt the franchise for years. The draft picks given up could transform into key pieces for the next generation. It's a very high-risk, high-return bet. The truth is that there is no risk-free option. Maintaining the status quo risks wasting the final years of a generational talent. Making a bold move risks compromising the future. As with every truly important decision, there are no guarantees. If you're enjoying this detailed analysis, don't forget to leave your like. Just a second of your time to ensure we continue bringing this type of exclusive content. We're investing weeks of research to bring you information you won't find anywhere else. And it doesn't stop there. Our subscribers receive immediate alerts when new information about this possible trade emerges. Join our community of true basketball connoisseurs who go beyond superficial analyses. The Warriors' fate is being written now, on two simultaneous fronts, in the playoffs against Houston and in the meeting rooms where the future is planned. The current series isn't just a battle for a title. It's a test to find a way forward. Every Curry shot, every Draymond defensive play, every minute of Buddy Hield. Everything is being evaluated not just for its immediate impact on the scoreboard, but for what it reveals about the team's potential future. Executives watch with two calendars in mind: the playoff schedule and the franchise development schedule for the next 5 years. Great dynasties don't end abruptly, they transform. The Celtics of the 80s reinvented themselves with Reggie Lewis's arrival. The Bulls built a second three-peat after Jordan's first hiatus. The Spurs evolved from a team centered on David Robinson to Tim Duncan's dominance, and then to the collective play system with Kawhi Leonard. We are witnessing the end of the Warriors as we know them, that's certain. The question is, are we also witnessing the birth of the next iteration of this dynasty? Stephen Curry's legacy is already secured in NBA history. 3 titles, 2 MVPs, the greatest shooter of all time. His place in the Hall of Fame is unquestionable. But true competitors are never satisfied. Michael Jordan returned after 3 titles to win 3 more. Kobe Bryant proved he could win without Shaquille O'Neal. LeBron James returned to Cleveland to fulfill a promise. For Curry, a 4th ring, especially at this stage of his career, could elevate him even further in the hierarchy of the greatest of all time. And the question I leave for you, true basketball connoisseurs: should the Warriors bet everything on Bam Adebayo, even if it means sacrificing promising young players like Kuminga? Or does the playoff experience of the current roster deserve another chance? The Warriors' history is marked by bold decisions that seem risky at the moment but prove visionary over time. Will this be another one, or the move that finally ends a golden era? Leave your opinion in the comments. For those who truly love basketball and want to understand the game beyond superficial headlines, this is the ideal channel. We analyze not just the plays and statistics, but the systemic forces shaping franchises' futures. Subscribe now, activate the bell, and be part of a community that discusses the NBA with the depth it deserves. Your participation is fundamental to maintaining this space for quality analysis. Warriors back in the playoffs. Warriors eyeing Bam Adebayo. Are we witnessing the end of an era, or just the beginning of a new glorious chapter? The answer begins to take shape now, as Curry and his teammates take the court at Toyota Center. But remember, in basketball as in life, sometimes the most important battles are fought away from the spotlight in discreet conversations that define the future long before it becomes present.